This is my audience. Good evening, all. Today I'll be persuading on how communication isn't always just about professionalism. It's always and can be about compassion. Now, today I have this wire. Communication is defined as connection between two people and places. These are the two ends represent the two people. And as you communicate with each other, you get to know each other better and closer. So as you communicate, you become like this now. But sometimes miscommunication, misunderstanding, and anger, emotional feelings, physical feelings start to get in the way. And you start to tangle within friendships, relationships, places at your job, at your, house, bills, all that. And then it becomes like this. I want to persuade you that life isn't comfortable with bad communication. Life is very uncomfortable. So with canceling out misunderstandings and miscommunications and having positive manners and abilities, I want to discuss on how you can go back like this and become even closer without having to tangle. Now, being social is always good for you. I know you can hear this a lot of times about how being social can sometimes get in the way. It can sometimes get in the way of what seems to be negative. Not everyone likes a friendly person. I know that by experience, but being social is very good for you. It increases being very healthy, reduce heart attacks, suicidal risk, because you're out in the open and you communicate with one another. Now, a little story I like to say is about at a law firm with Tasha and Keisha. Now, Tasha and Keisha explains two versions of communication. Keisha has good communication skills and Tasha has bad communication skills. Now these two had a difference between both presentations that didn't like what they was presenting. So Tasha had an issue with Keisha's presentation, but Tasha didn't go to Keisha with positive communication. Instead, she went with negative communication and wasn't really communicating at all. And according to South University's news, good social human interaction is good for adult life. As these two people are part of adult life with law firms, they seem to have an issue which needs to be resolved because it can lead to violence, all that good bad stuff. And without good communication, these two can make a situation that is no longer need to be, no longer, with communication comes miscommunication. And miscommunication is simply no connection. Now I terms miscommunication as wires, as I did before at the beginning, being tangled. And miscommunication can lead to like electrical sparks, which can symbolize violence and bad emotions and expressions towards one another. We should always be passionate when we speak. We shouldn't just say hey and goodbye or just say what's up, how you doing. We should be passionate with one another because if we show that we care about one another, then we can all grow together, be better as a person and as well as better someone else's life, because you never know what that person is going through. And that's why sometimes when I go around and I tell everyone, hey, how you doing? I make sure I put passion behind it because some people is driven off emotion. So that's why it is important that you are very passionate about speaking to one another. Just don't speak to them because they just sitting in the room, because you don't never know what that person going through, and that can also increase suicidal risk. And increasing suicidal risk is not what we need in the world. So to conclude this short speech, I would like to say that communication is the key, but the master key to all the locks is compassion. So when you speak to someone, make sure you use passion. Make sure you are passionate about what you are speaking. Because if you are passionate about what you are speaking, you can get towards a person in a very influential way that you don't know that you are doing. And the reason why I say that is because I have a story about a classmate I have. She was feeling real down, but she never showed it. So I said, "Hello, gorgeous, how are you?" And then 2 days later, she came up to me and said, "Quan, that really changed my life just by those 2 or 3 words." So that only shows or confirms that compassion is part of communication. So therefore, compassion and communication unlocks the locks to this world of evilness. So we should be positive and never hateful. Thank you so much. Hold up, you can't, don't. And this is my audience. Thank y'all so much for being very attentive.